Hey, good morning, YouTube. It's Upside DIY. I actually am going for the bare bottom, cold water fish tank. There's meat, there's ham in there, but the thing is, I put these in last weekend or a few days ago, and then the filter's starting to get really dirty, the filter floss, but these plants or these succulent cuttings are actually getting roots growing, so I'm going to have to plan on something, whereas to just change out the filter and put and actually take out the dirty filter and actually have those growing in in something in something that's similar, with cycled water and things. So right here, I basically have a bucket of water that I actually cleaned. Coming out of the fish tank, they actually get filtered through a filter, and then go into a bucket. I get the bucket, I dump it into here, and then I carbon filter to get out most of the ammonia, and and the only thing that's going to be in there is pretty much you know just and thinking about the carbon filter and things like that, is it could basically be pebbles from what it looks like. It's really nothing different, or gravel. It's you could try to use some of that with some filter floss, and then maybe it'll work, but make sure it's rinsed off real good and stuff. So after it's carbon filtered, I can try to really filter it using a Brita filter, which does actually seem to work. You know each filtering actually takes or makes the water half or twice as clear. So and this barrel right here is just only Brita filter. It's a little shady and things. I want to show you guys this because this barrel hasn't been filled with water quite like this. It has soap. The barrel is pretty much from just shampoo being in it, and then it gives off a really shampooy smell. So I'm actually trying to cycle this barrel at the same time while reserving some pretty much clean Brita filter. It's not 100% clear just because chlorine isn't there. I actually took out quite a bit of chlorine, quite a lot, or most of it. The chlorine just starts to cycle or burn off, they say, not cycle, but burn off in 2 days or whatnot, and the rest of it is pretty much just same water as in nature, but it's it's basically it's gonna have that's all I know actually. I can add a little bit of salt in this actually, or maybe a lot of salt. There's actually probably some salt in there from some of the other stuff. There's just fine particles or whatnot, but all that's going to settle if it's going to settle. I really can't talk about this water or talk about anything but just show you guys. I don't, I have these planters right here. I'm actually trying to learn what type of I could have them inside this aquarium, and these planters are actually for propagating, whereas I'll cut a large branch into smaller pieces and then stick them in cycled water, not chlorine water. The chlorine water is going to actually eat up some of the plants and give it some problems from the get-go. So you want cycled different water, with ammonia or something to keep the plants acclimated right. And I want to solder a few holes, maybe down here maybe up here and use most of this as a water basin. But having this cycled water already, I can actually try to use it. But the only problem is the soap and things in the water actually works kind of like chlorine. I figured out what slime coating is. It's probably plant matters, probably, you know, just algae like you see on larger whales or sharks and things, and little fish getting on the shark to eat off whatever slime coat. I don't know, but that's pretty much the only natural way. We know that some plants are, you know, oily and things. They do convert, you know, ammonia, which is nitrite, you know, carbon dioxide and stuff, to make oil and things. So maybe that's helping with the slime coat, whereas it's taking out a lot of the waste and putting something useful, oxygen, you know, and things. But I'm glad this is really growing its roots. So this kind of worked out. You know, it can actually grow bigger, larger, I mean, and you know, have its way with you know, with the filtering of the water. Same thing with this, but this has a nice cover to it. This would actually be nice filter for something else with plants. But a lot of my filters, pretty much 2 of them for now. Even the large HOB over there has a cover for it, so I can't really put plants into it, but I can think of pretty much a container and you know, just basically. But this one has some type of crinkles in it, and you know, if I'm not careful, it can actually crack and leak. So I don't really trust this as much as, you know, something that I know that won't really leak right away and things. But I can, you know, use some type of water pump and things. The only thing is I don't want it to cover up my aquarium covers, because the main purpose of these aquarium covers is to allow light to go down in there and help out the submerged or immersed plants, if they ever even grow. So yeah, we'll just have to see. But these covers and you know, Aquaplanet and or, you know, Bare Bottom, you know, they're all at different stages of pretty much growth within the aquarium and pets. But for now, this is pretty much the look of pretty much, you know, where my success has accumulated, and I'm grateful. You know, I actually, you know, don't have much, you know, working well, and everything, you know, has to be worked on. And I don't, you know, at this point, I gotta look inside of me and you know, try to find, you know, whatever life I have ahead of me, and getting pretty much you know, having a clear understanding, you know, whereas this light, it's a little better at nighttime. You know, that's pretty much a good enough heater sometimes for some really, you know, cold water fish, just for the winter time to really enjoy maybe at nighttime. But you know, giving them 24 hours a day, this and that, you know, having to give light to plants. That's not well, that works really nice too, but you know, they'll do this and that, whereas you know, if it's overplanted, you know, plants might, you know, might not have enough nutrients and things. People add CO2, they could add flake food, I don't know, fertilizer, and then the plants will do okay, because it's in the nitrogen cycle, whereas as it's not as chlorinated, you know, as tap water, and you know, it's cycled water. It's been through a more stable. So these fish are actually getting back to being a little bit nicer to me, but you know, in the first day or two, they started, you know, really bugging out. But I'm going to keep them as this because I know these fish can get to 3 inches, 3 or 4 inches, and you know, after maybe 4 or 5 years, they really can be nice fish for me. I've had them before, you know, and just putting them through all this and that, I will really be grateful to just, you know, be settled with this and having other things to move you know, just to move past that. I have to wash this, which is pretty easy, and maybe you know, kind of finish washing this. I'm not even sure if wood and decaying matter are good for the fish, but I'm pretty sure like this wood and stuff would be nice for you know, the plant inside of, you know, the filter and things, just from some of the material, or you know, just some of the organics inside of organic things. Maybe plants can reuse stuff like that, I'm not sure, but I gotta clean this stuff up, and you know, I gotta get this filter to run right. It didn't work last time, so there's probably a leak or something, I don't know. So I hope in this video I described pretty much the filtering process. First I used that filter, which is from straight out of the fish tank, into a bucket. Dump the bucket, carbonate the filter with a large carbon filter, which you could probably use a pebble, grass, I don't know exactly, or hay in there, but most likely rocks. The ammonia or whatnot, there's little smaller cracks and things, but biocarbon is supposed to actually cling on to more, or the ammonia and some maybe other things goes into there, and then from there I've been actually doing a really finer process of Brita filtering it. And with the Brita filter, you actually need a slower siphon. So I use this air hose with actually just a piece of bubble gum to weigh it down a little bit more, and that stays at the bottom. And then this actually starts to siphon and actually can have, you know, cleaner water that's, you know, dechlorinated, biocarbonated, and hopefully, you know, and reuse, because all that water right there, you know, 20-30 gallons is probably $5. You know, buying a large jug of water like that can be a little, you know, can cost a little bit. I mean, it's people collect rainwater and things, and that's helpful too if they have time and patience to really try to have clean water. And then I have these planters, and this I'm just actually updating this fish room, I'm gonna actually leave it as this. I'm gonna try to do whatever I can that's gonna you know, that I have time for, and then I'll just probably you know, I just probably have to, you know, see you guys on the next video. Alright, you too, have a good day, bye.